Hey, what is up? Molly Kennedy here with another special edition during the COVID-19 global pandemic. This video is going to be like there's been 3 other videos I've done that are not specifically a Monday with Molly or a Flip Your 20 Friday. But now that we are at the time, and again, I normally don't share the date, but for these COVID-19 ones I am because everything is changing, still changing pretty rapidly. So it is currently Thursday, March 26th. It's late morning on the East Coast in the US. And I'm just sharing that again, just for transparency with, whatever new information might come out by the time you see this. So what I wanted to focus on today is the acceptance phase of where we all are right now. Because there's something called the stages of grief, and it's often used. People refer to it when we're talking about maybe death of a loved one or a pet. Could be death of or loss of a job or a relationship. But it certainly plays into, it's a factor now, these stages of grief during what we're going through. So the 5 stages, and as you're listening, be honest with yourself about which stage you're in and where you can relate to. So the first stage of grief is denial. And I can tell you 2 weeks ago today, I was in denial. I had just come back from a speaking trip because I speak with students, high school, middle school, college. I work with teachers for professional development. And I just came back from a speaking event, and I was getting ready to go to my next one the next day to fly away. And I was in denial, like, well, it's not affecting me, because at the time it wasn't. And then 24 hours later, everything got canceled. So there's a part of denial. And the other part is anger, right? Certainly for the students who watch these, anger about losing your sports season, your spring musical, prom, graduation. For the college students, not being able to cross the stage, schools closing down. When March Madness got canceled, I was like, how can you cancel March Madness? So there's an anger phase. Then there is the bargaining phase, which I know I've been through and probably till very recently have just come out of. And bargaining is like, all right, well, I'll social distance for a couple of days, or the 2 weeks, or the 15 days to flatten the curve. I'll do that, and I'm okay with a couple things being canceled, but then we're gonna get back on real quick, right? Right, we bargain. I'll do this as long as I can get that. And again, all of this is totally normal. And that's why I just want to share this, because the compound effect of this, and I don't know how long it will last in the social distancing and the quarantine. I don't know. But I do know the compound effect now brings new issues in. And then after, so we have denial, anger, bargaining, and then we get into the depression phase. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean a clinical depression phase. It might be, but depression, sadness phase, where there's a lot of overwhelm, helplessness. I think a lot of us are either in that phase or we're fluctuating between maybe the bargaining and the depression, sadness, or the depression, sadness, and the next phase, which I'll explain. So there's an ebb and flow. It's not like once you finish one stage, you never go back. Because I think this sadness, depression stage, that overwhelm is, we don't know. People are still losing their jobs. We don't know if school's going to be back this school year. And then the final stage, the 5th stage, which is what I want to focus on, is the acceptance phase. And the acceptance phase is a lot of us, I don't think we're all there yet, but a lot of us are like, okay, this is here. This is real. It's affecting everyone, so we certainly are not alone. And we have to figure out what our new normal is. So we've gotten to that place. Again, doesn't mean you're staying there. Again, you might fluctuate back into that sadness and overwhelm. I know I do. But the acceptance phase is we're like, okay, this is what it is right now, and for, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months. Okay. So when we get into this phase, this is where we start to really be aware of our focus. Because if you've watched any of the other videos, or certainly the one on building resilient students during COVID-19, is it's all about what we can control. It's what we focus on and what we control. And we can only control ourselves. We cannot control anyone else, or the news, or the spread of it, or the testing, or whatever. So, acceptance. This is where, now that we have a new normal, we're trying to figure out what our new normal is, and it's different for everybody, where you start to explore different options. Maybe it's, again, with a lot of online learning, whether you're a student or a teacher or a parent, exploring the different options of how to do your best to stay on top of your schoolwork. Again, this is unprecedented, so nobody really knows how that's going to all turn out, but you're looking at all the options for that. Or you're looking at options for how to keep your sanity if you live in a household with other people. For me personally, I live alone, which is a blessing and a curse. I don't have to worry about other people, but I'm also really missing the physical contact of hugging my friends. But so I explore my options when I do my social distancing workouts or walks with my friends from we're usually about 6 to 10 feet apart. A lot of times we're pretty far apart. And instead of hugging them, I now curtsy. Curtsy is the new hug for me. So I'm still trying to find ways to connect with people in person, but from that safe distance. So maybe for you, like I said, if you live in a household with other people, maybe some of your options are you get out and you go for a walk at least once a day by yourself. Or you lock yourself in your room and you're reading a book, or you're doing music, or being creative, or drawing, or I know a lot of people are cooking. So it's whatever works for you, but it's looking at options of how to keep your calm, your composure, a productive focused most of the time, not all the time. Trust me, we all have our meltdowns. That's okay too. But this acceptance phase is also planning, what's next? Okay, for this week, let's have a couple of goals, right? Simple things could be really simple, like you got up and you showered in the morning. And I don't know about you, but there have been a couple days where I'm like, when did I shower last? Look, I'm going to always keep it honest and real with you. That's just real. The acceptance phase also this is really, really important. We have to give ourselves permission to feel how we feel. I'm going to say that again. For the people in the back. You have to allow yourself to feel how you feel. This is not the time to stuff all your emotions down because you feel like you have to keep it all together. Or to stuff them down because my family doesn't normally talk about stuff and this is just one more thing. I don't want to be the burden to anyone else. Or to stuff them down because you're the strong one in your family or your friend group, and if they see me breaking down, oh my gosh, what's that going to do to them? You are allowed to be human. And when you go to acceptance, it doesn't mean you never go back. Look, I'm oftentimes really focused on the forward and what can I do now and how to pivot and be resilient and resourceful. I'm all about that, which is why I'm so glad I've started these videos, because this gives me purpose right now. This is how I can serve my audience and my clients and help as many people as possible of any age. But trust me, I still fall back too. I have my days where I might just be sitting and driving in my car or sitting on my couch and I'll just start crying. Because it is a lot, and that's okay. But I'm not going to hide my feelings. I've hid them for 40 years. I'm not going to do it anymore. So give yourself and the people around you permission to feel how they feel in the way they're going through to accept this and whatever their new normal is. People they grieve differently. People experience this so differently, and it does come in waves. So give some people some grace and space to allow to have their own feelings. The other part of acceptance, and I think this is a really interesting thing that I think I just started noticing in the past day or two. With social media, which thank goodness we have so we can stay connected. If you look at social media, you kind of see, I mean, people are everywhere on the spectrum, but I think what we're seeing a lot is on one side, it's people are devastated, exhausted, haven't gotten off the couch, are not taking care of themselves, understandably so. And the other thing I think we're seeing on social media is people who are like hyper like into cleaning and organizing, hyper into like being physically fit all day long because now you have all this time, hyper into like painting the walls and doing the home projects. So we see this side like, oh God, I don't want to be there. That sounds really hard. And then like, here comes the comparison machine again, comparing to everybody like totally like just like crushing it right now. I really want to take a second to talk about this. First of all, that's a spectrum, and you're allowed to be anywhere on that spectrum at any time. I know for me, again, I live alone. A couple days ago, probably like 3 days ago, I looked around my house and I was like, it looks like a bomb went off in here. And I'm a pretty organized person. I got my junk table and things fairly organized. I had so many clothes on my bedroom floor. I was like, what has happened? So I didn't beat myself up over it, but I just was like, oh my gosh. All right. Oh, most of this is laundry. Let's do some laundry. So you have to be okay with however things are. It's okay. And then do your best to be productive in whatever way productive looks that day. Like there was a couple days where clothes was just sitting there because I had no desire to do laundry. I did not feel like going down to the basement or carrying laundry up. I was like, I don't even feel like it. And then there are other days where I'm like on top of my laundry and I fold it and put it away. Every day is different. But it's important that we're not comparing ourselves, especially to the hyper uber, everyone's on top of it. You'll have days like that, but every day doesn't have to be like that. This is not just random free time because there's so much emotion, so much uncertainty that takes energy from us. And we have to honor that. You know, there are people there's so much free fitness online too. Look, if you've been following me and follow me on my Instagram at flipyour20_, I'm all about fitness and I'm still outside almost every day. I exercise outside year round. I'm all about it because for me, that's my mental and emotional therapy. I'm certainly not doing it to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys aren't outside exercising. Well, that's never the point. It's always from a place of encouragement and support, and it keeps my head clear, and it gives me a way to outlet my emotions. I like that I can stay in shape doing it. That's a bonus, but for me, it's really my therapy right now. You don't have to become super fit right now. You don't have to become the best chef in the world. You don't have to have the cleanest, most organized house right now. All of your schoolwork doesn't have to be done perfectly. You're allowed to be. And part of this acceptance phase that we're all going through for the first time ever in any of our lives, accept each day as it comes. You do your best to be productive. Certainly, I'm all about that. Be productive, feel like you have a purpose. But it's okay that every day is not going to be like that. And maybe we just need to accept ourselves as we are each day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. Feel how you feel and let others feel how they feel. And if you're able to get some workouts in and get out and go for a walk, fresh air, beautiful. If you feel extra creative right now, wonderful. If you feel like today's a day where it's going to be just like eating candy on the couch, go for it. We're allowed to have all those days, and that's part of accepting whatever this new norm is and you creating your new norm. It's okay. And amidst all of this, and again, I know there's a lot of panic and fear, and I always say, like, only watch the news to know what you need to know. Any new development's great. Watching it too much, not a great idea, in my opinion. So be aware too of what you're consuming, not just, I don't just mean consuming what food. Be aware of what you're consuming online for your head and for your heart. Because with all the panic and it just seems wild right now. Please come back to knowing this. You are loved and you matter. And we will come through this. We will. It'll be in the rearview mirror. I don't know when, but it will. And having that perspective and doing the best you can every day and understanding these different stages of grief is really important to have some context. You are loved and you matter. Take care of yourself. I will see you again soon. Please keep coming back for content here on my YouTube channel that is serving your heart and your head and giving you good content to consume. That's one of my goals throughout this whole thing. It makes me feel productive and coming from a place of service. And that's one of the things that I'm choosing to focus on. That's part of my plan right now. So I will see you soon. Take care. Peace.